Never ever.
Okay, let's have fun. You can surprise
What
me with all the stuff that you have.
Why aren't we always have fun, John? We're having fun
We
right now.
You
We
know,
usually have more fun before I hit record, though.
I laughed. I'm gonna tell this when we record, so go ahead.
I
Whenever
am
you're ready.
recording. I have been recording.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I just looked down. I said those things, and it was never mind, I'm just kidding.
I
What
didn't record that.
what I wanted to start with was a funny piece where so without boring everybody with the layout of this rental house we're in,
Too late.
it's very tiny. It's a tiny place, and I'm in kind of an echoey room, and but it's okay. It works out fine. I heard from the main room. I can't call it a great room because it's like an okay room. It's not even a good room. It's small, but I heard
Okay.
Lisa laughing, and I was in between calls or something, and I said, "What's so funny?" And she didn't hear me, and I went out there. She's on the couch lying with her headphones on. She says, "Oh, I'm listening to PoddiMouths." I said, "Oh, this is why I love you."
That's awesome. I wish my wife would do that.
Well, you'd have to pay
Yeah.
her like I do. Anyway.
No, it's usually she's around Peyton, so we've got that parental warning or parental or whatever.
Well, I know, but that really throws people off too. I think some people see that warning, and then afterwards, after the show, they're a little disappointed. They go, "That wasn't
Yeah.
that dirty."
Yeah, it happens quite a bit. I got to throw my microphone cable behind me because all I hear is there we go.
Oh, that could have been me. Sorry.
No, it is you. It's all
What?
your fault.
I
Everything's
knew
your
it.
fault.
So we're on the same page then. Now, the other thing, because I know you have some things you want to. I'm going to save my other thing. Let's go to your first thing.
No, I'm interested. I think the audience, most people listening to the show would much rather hear you talk than
I
me
doubt
because
that.
I talk way too much.
You do not.
Yes, I do.
It gives me a break. I'm elderly.
You
I need
are.
a break from always talking and the extra effort that it takes.
It must be a lot of effort,
Do you call me
especially
an
at
effort?
your advanced age.
Yes, I am highly advanced in my
Speaking
age.
of advanced age, this
Yes,
is not
please.
something I wanted to talk about, but
Oh, well, you're gonna.
you've been reading, seeing, watching the news with William Shatner, the
I,
oldest man in space.
I saw part of it, but I didn't get the whole thing. I saw a funny Babylon Bee reference to it, but
Oh, did you really? I
yes.
haven't seen that. No,
It's
I
pretty
actually
funny.
saw some of the video of him in the space capsule, and all you heard, it sounded like he was having an orgasm in the background.
Okay.
You've got to look it up. It's hilarious.
I'm
You
just
know
kind
how
of curious how you would know how Shatner sounds when he has an orgasm.
well, I don't if no, but that's what it sounded like.
How do you know?
I don't. I
If
don't. And
you're
I couldn't
assuming.
tell which one he was either. So maybe he was. I don't know. Maybe
Ah,
he was behind. But you know how George Takei has the joke where everyone
oh
goes, "Oh
my.
my."
Yes.
It was basically him doing that. Oh my. Oh my. Oh goodness. Oh my gosh. It's like you
I-
got it. I'm not doing it justice by any means. You have to look it up and watch it.
If that is your interpretation of Shatner or anyone having an orgasm, we need to talk a little more before you.
That's why we have a podcast. I almost said that's why we have a potty mouths. It's true.
So is this date night at your house? Is that? Oh my.
Oh my.
Oh my.
No, because I don't think Jennifer would know who George Takei is.
Well, that's
He
actually
liked that one.
that's good. I did like it, and it's because I have a visual in my head, and I need to get it out right now.
All right, I'm gonna see if we can hear this on my phone.
Okay.
Hold on.
Okay.
Turn up the volume
This
because
is technology here, folks.
this technology. Of course, now it's being slow and stupid.
Hey.
Oh, we got a commercial first. Hold on. I've got to play through the ad. 27 seconds left. Can
I
you
don't
cover
have
me
my
for
bell
27
here.
seconds?
I don't know if we can do that. We might have to edit this out because you and I
Right?
to talk for 27 seconds.
That's
I
a
feel
well, we only have
uncomfortable
15
with that.
seconds left.
Yeah, but it feels like a lot longer than 15 seconds.
It's actually good. It's a good commercial. It's a golf commercial.
Is it? I don't have my
Sponsored
bell.
by
It's a
Armento Team
shame.
Series. Yeah, you don't.
Oh,
It's a
ding.
shame.
The bell is packed.
Ding. All right, hold on.
Okay, Here we go. Hang on, ladies and gentlemen.
No description can equal this. Wait.
This is nuts!
Oh,
This is, huh?
I'm telling you.
Holy hell.
Was that Shatner?
No.
Oh.
You couldn't really hear him, but I mean, I could hear him, but he was in the background going, "Oh my. Oh my."
And who was
It was some
the?
other it was one of the other passengers,
Oh, okay.
because he was on the Blue Origin. For those of you who don't know, he was launched on Blue Origin with several other people, but he happened to be the elderly person at 90 years old going up
I
into
was going to
space.
say he's the elderly person in almost any group.
That's true. That is
Not
very
there's
true.
anything wrong with that.
No, I mean, look at you. And
Careful.
so oh, I'm very careful all the
I
time.
know. Yes, I know.
And of course, I can't find another one. But anyway, if you get a chance, look it up and really turn up the volume and listen to it because it is pretty funny.
An orgasmic William Shatner.
Yeah. I mean, could you blame him though if you had the opportunity to go to space at 90 years old?
Well, that would mean I'd have several years to wait, but
You do have what, 10, 15?
yeah, maybe. Very funny. I hope you spat into that cup. That was terrible. That was very naughty.
That was very naughty. Very naughty.
That's all right.
Um,
Naughty. You know what? Yes,
naughty.
but I don't think I'm not that. I don't think I would if I given the chance right now
Okay.
or at any time. I'm not. I'd almost rather watch somebody do it and then Photoshop myself in. Maybe I don't know.
There you go. Hey, so did I ever tell you about our neighbor who was a good friend of my stepfather? Actually, bought my stepfather's airplane right after when the guy Murray sold it to. He
Yeah.
was a teacher. Excuse me, a retired teacher. Great guy. His name was John Mueller. And his claim to fame, and he did do local television after he retired from teaching. But his big claim to fame was he was one of the runner-ups to be on the Challenger. He was one of the
Runners up,
teachers. What did I say?
runner ups.
Did I really?
Yes.
I'm sorry. I apologize for my
You don't have to
misspoken.
be sorry. It's
I
the
am
same
sorry.
rule as mothers-in-law
No,
and
I knew that, and I knew how
okay.
to say it correctly. I just didn't. So I
Then I'm
apologize.
sorry. I should have let it fly. No, I
No,
shouldn't have
you shouldn't have.
because I don't. You know me.
However,
Okay, sorry.
anyway,
Runners up.
indubitably, um, no, anyway, he was one of the people that was selected to go in the group, and I always thought that was really neat, but I also had a little bit of hesitation when it came to believing the story. Because some people embellish a little bit, and
Mhm.
yeah, maybe he wasn't. This went on for, I mean, I've known this for years, never really looked into it, didn't really care because he was a great guy.
Mhm.
He unfortunately passed away around 2003, I
Okay.
believe. He got hit by a car. He was at a
Oh, no.
conference in
Oh,
Fargo
gosh.
and got hit by a car. Very, very sad. And there's a
Wow.
whole other story that goes along with it, kind of a disappointment with his wife, who's also a very wonderful person.
Mm.
She sold his airplane, our old airplane, before
Yes,
we had
right.
the opportunity to
That you
buy
would
it
like to
back.
get back.
Exactly,
Yes.
exactly. Anyway,
Yeah.
that's neither here nor there.
Mm.
He, as I said, was one in that group. The documentary about the entire Challenger escapade, if you will, so all
Mhm.
of the teachers that were invited to
Yeah.
participate, all the ones that were voted for, so on, as whatever.
Mhm.
Um, they were showing some of the footage of all of the runners up beforehand, and while they were going through all of it, and they were talking about Krista McCullough,
Mhm.
and all of
McAuliffe, I
his
think. Was it
McCullough. No,
McAuliffe?
you're right. It's McCullough. I
Okay,
think.
I'm not sure.
No,
That I
you're
can't
right.
swear.
It is
Okay.
McCullough.
Okay. Wow.
Anyway, I'm sitting there and I'm just watching. I wasn't even looking, and all of a sudden I'm like, "That's John!" And there he was, standing in the back row. It looked
Really?
exactly the same. Yeah, and then I'm like, he was telling
Wow.
the truth. He
That's
was
pretty
that
cool.
close to being on the Challenger.
Wow.
Isn't
Wow.
that crazy?
That is, yeah. Yeah. Um, sadly, it reminds me of a joke that went around back then. You know how when a tragedy happens and there are jokes then that
Of course,
rear their ugly heads, and
it's
it
the way
just
it's the way a lot of people cope. I cope by joking as well.
yeah. Well, this was a it was sort of a, political timely thing because if you remember, um, there was, mm, 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 mm,
Nope, don't remember that.
uh, Gary Hart was a, candidate for president
Okay.
at that time, and he kind of got pushed out of the running because he was caught, on a boat, as I recall, with a young lady to whom he was not married.
Okay.
In fact,
Nowadays, that probably wouldn't be a problem.
probably not. But of course, they would have drone footage of everything
Right.
that went on, so it might still be a problem.
Well,
Uh,
you'd probably make millions by putting it on Pornhub.
there was
Ding.
there was nicely done. There was a piece, a funny cartoon with showing a picture, and I believe they did have a shot of him on this boat with this girl, and they
Okay.
were, let's say, in flagrante is
Okay.
perhaps the way to say it. And, and there was a supposed quote by Ted Kennedy, who was still around at the time, and he said, "Hey Gary, I see you've changed your position on offshore drilling."
Wow.
I know, that was awesome. So he's
How
in
does
this
that
boat. Yeah.
Okay. How does that have what was the off-color joke about Challenger
So
in
the
that?
girl was Donna Rice, I think was her name.
Okay.
And the question was, what's similar between Krista McAuliffe and Donna Rice? They both went down in the Challenger. It was terrible.
Wow.
Yes, and there are other bad ones
Oh,
that were
sure.
even worse, but it was the whole offshore drilling thing killed me though. That's pretty darn funny. But the other one was more off color. But
Hmm.
yeah, that's how I remember Gary Hart and Donna Rice, which is
Are you playing drums on the table while you're telling the joke?
I
Or
may
is
have
that
hit the table one time there,
you're
Mr.
hitting it quite
Soundman.
a bit, Mr. Man.
Well, I like to exemplify my points. You, on the other hand, you look like a
Well, it's because like right now
wooden
my
person.
arms are on my desk, but I can make it look like I'm going through an earthquake. So I usually put my hands down to my side.
Do you? Oh, well, you're
Yeah.
standing.
Yeah, I'm standing.
Yeah, put them in your pockets.
They're in my back pockets now.
Oh, that's only a little weird.
It's just
If I
that's
start hearing
easy.
if I start hearing William Shatner moaning, I'll know that it's
That's
you.
my back. No, that's if they're in my front pocket.
I, I can't swear to any of that.
Okay. Moving on.
What else did you have for today? You had other things.
Those none of what we've spoken about right
Well,
now
then
is
get
what I
on to
had planned.
something.
Well, what is this weekend? We are currently going into the weekend, and you and I have something very special, both
We
of
do.
us,
We
which we
do.
didn't know until what 2 years after we
We, yes.
started get to know it,
So it's
getting to know.
get,
See, you can tell it's already the weekend.
getting.
Gotten go. Well, no, you. Oh yeah, I know you. Jeez.
That's very nice of you.
Anyway,
Yes. Tell them
um,
what it is.
it
Tell them
is
what they
wow.
won.
There's a stink bug on my wall.
Hmm.
Squirrel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, it is the weekend of it's not the weekend of the 18th. The 18th is Monday. So,
17th is actually our date.
oh, is it really? So Sunday is your day?
Sunday. Yeah.
Interesting. Ours is Monday,
Yeah.
but it's both of our wedding anniversaries.
It is.
So, what are you
It's
doing for your wedding anniversary?
Well, we're going to a lovely steak place this evening because we both
Okay.
enjoy a good steak, and they're not, let's just say there's not an abundance of them here. But this is
That's
one that's
interesting.
supposed to be quite good, reading the reviews and everything.
Okay.
It's supposed to be kind of a top-notch place, although okay, so and Lisa and I talked about this earlier. When I think of a steakhouse, I'm kind of old school. I want the cloth tablecloth and I want
Sure.
the cloth napkins and kind of dark wood and not really bright lights or anything like that. There's a place on the square downtown Madison, Wisconsin, that is called Rare, R-A-R-E,
Yeah,
Rare
I
Steakhouse.
know of Rare, yes.
Gosh, and I don't know if it's a chain or what it is, but it's, you know
Be
of that
interesting to
one
find
in
out.
particular?
No, I know of that one in particular.
Oh, okay. Oh, I didn't realize that. Well,
Yeah.
we went there, and invited my nephews who joined us, and it was probably the best experience,
Hmm,
and not inexpensive by any stretch, but, it was just amazing, and the steakhouse experience as far as I'm concerned, and there are others in that area. Obviously, I'm a little biased because that's where we're from, but, the Tornado, I think they call it the Tornado Room or something Tornado in Madison,
okay.
also really good, even more old school
Hmm,
than that. But so this one that we're going to is more of contemporary stainless steel and things like that. So we'll see how we like it. So I'm not
which
gonna, you
you
know,
were you saying Lisa likes this particular type of thing, versus the dark wood and
no, she would probably prefer the same thing as
okay,
I do. But
okay,
when it comes down to it, it's the food,
right,
and
absolutely.
so I mean, if the steaks are good, then I can
But there's a
forgive a
lot to
lot.
say about the experience too, because that they do say a lot of how we taste our food is dictated by the experience that we're having.
I would agree, and that, of course, would be the surroundings as part of it,
Right,
and so on.
right.
But we'll see. They're supposed to have great waiters
It's kind of
and all of
like
that, so we'll
it's
see.
kind of like, getting Honey Nut Cheerios or getting Honey Nut Wheat Oats when you're buying cereal. It's
Yes.
probably made on the same line, it's probably the same thing, it's just, diverted into 2 different boxes and one sold cheaper than the other, but if you open up Honey Nut Cheerios and eat it, you'll probably like it better than Honey Nut Wheatos.
Mhm, mhm. Probably so. Well said.
Ding, ding, and ding, ding.
See, we don't need the darn
We don't
bell
need the
anyway.
dinger.
We
No.
got you.
You probably you gave it to your granddaughter and she's just hoarding it.
The bell no, it's packed, but yeah,
Yeah.
I, uh, I would imagine that we'll find it at some point, but it's not anytime particularly soon.
Stand by to season 4 of PoddiMouths when the
Hey, guess
dinger
what we
returns.
found? RODD, Return of the Dinger.
The dinger. No, so I had a very interesting week. I had a fun week.
Yes.
I traveled
So happy
quite a
anniversary, by the
oh,
way,
happy anniversary to
to
you as
both of
well.
our wives and to you.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Exactly what he said. Oh, we're going, we're not going to a steakhouse. We're actually Jen has wanted to stay at the Union Station Hotel, which is the old train station here, and it's a Marriott property.
Nice.
It's an autograph hotel, so
Yeah,
we're gonna go stay there, Saturday to Sunday and
very nice.
chill and have a little bubbly with some chocolate.
Awesome.
It'll be fun.
Having
Hopefully, we were
dinner
gonna
downtown or
try
no? No.
we were going to try we still will try, obviously, but we were trying to set, reservations at some of the hotels, and no one was taking reservations
Oh.
until, like, Tuesday.
Oh,
So,
what was the name of the one you and I went to? Remember that
I
really
don't remember
yummy.
the name. Yeah,
Oh, it was
I'll look it up here
so
when
good.
next time you're on a long diatribe on something, I'll look it up.
Well, that's not gonna happen. You know me.
No, I know you so
I
well.
could go minutes without that.
Minutes. Anyway, so I spent the week traveling quite a bit. I headed out to Denver, and then I came home, and then I was supposed to head out to Dallas, and an emphasis on the supposed to
Uh-huh.
head out to Dallas, and then come back today. And actually, so today is Friday. It's Friday night, and I was supposed to be arriving, which was very lucky because John and I were trying to figure out when we were going to
Mhm.
podcast, and I wasn't going to be home till late. I figured I'd be really tired, and luckily I didn't go, so we had time to do it this evening.
Mhm.
Anywho, so flew out to Denver, had a great time, met with some really good people at some dealers out there, and had a lot of fun. And the best part about it, it's Friday, October 15th right now. I should have known that off the top of my head. I still had to look. And so it's not even. It wasn't even the middle of October yet. On Tuesday night, I hear a little bit of thunder outside my window in my hotel, and I look out, and there's snow on the ground
What?
in Fort Collins. I
Wow.
was beyond the moon. I was so happy, and
Thrilled,
here, I'm gonna
yes.
show oh, wow, it's even still pulled up because I was showing someone else. Look at that.
Wow.
Yep.
Snow.
Snow,
That's great.
snow, snow.
Do you
Yep,
know what I do
I
not
was so
want to
happy.
hear or see in person
Um,
this year? Snow.
A steak? Oh,
Yeah, no, steak. I plan to slam in my face, but
it's very, very soon.
yeah,
You can
snow.
almost smell it. It's so soon. No, it was snow. I was so happy. And it was 30 degrees and I was just in heaven. I got to pull out my puffer vest, not even my full puffer jacket because it was only 34 degrees, but my puffer vest. And yeah,
Of course you
I was
did.
a happy boy. And then I flew home. It
Wow.
was 80 degrees and I was going to fly to Texas where it was 89 degrees. That did not make me a happy boy.
Mm,
But I am
yes.
sitting in the airport on Thursday morning and getting ready for my flight. The flight has already been delayed. My meeting's at 2
Mhm.
and my flight was supposed to arrive in Dallas at 10. Or I'm sorry, 10:30. My flight didn't actually end up leaving, which I did not get on until 12:40. So
Oh,
it wouldn't have landed until 3. And the dealer, we just couldn't figure out how, because the dealer he's 40 minutes away from the airport,
ah,
but with evening traffic with rush hour, it would have been more like an hour and a half. So I wouldn't
wow.
have gotten there until 4:30 or 5. And he's like, it's too late in the day. We're not going to be able to finish the meeting. And then I said, we tried to reschedule, but everyone's schedule was all jacked up. So we ended up doing it virtually, which was really
Awesome.
interesting and actually went well because most of our virtual meetings don't go as well as this actually went. So,
Did
but that's
you
how it
do it from
was.
the airport, or did you come home and
No,
do it?
I came home because it was at 2 and I was still sitting at the airport at
Cool.
noon. So I could make it home. I'm only 30 minutes away from the airport. So
Awesome.
yeah, so that was my interesting week. Met with some really great people. And the one interesting thing though, and this has been a topic of conversation in the household. We have obviously Jen who was almost militant about wearing her mask
Mhm.
everywhere. She's had COVID, she's been vaccinated, and she got COVID again. We have no idea how. Um, I'm not as militant about it, but Nashville and Tennessee has always been in the news in the past for being kind of open. We always make that joke, does COVID really exist in Tennessee? Who knows? Because no one seems to care. It's just kind of been the way it is, right? Texas, they're a little bit more open than they are here. And when I'm using this as Davidson County, because that's where I live. And Davidson County is, if you're looking at it from a political spectrum, is a blue dot in a sea of red. So
Okay.
you can understand that Davidson County is just a little bit more wonky, and everyone's still wearing their masks and all businesses are asked to have people wear masks and
Mhm.
stuff like that. So not really a true mandate. It's a recommendation that people are expected to follow.
Mm.
I think that's where it sets people apart. Now, Denver and Colorado, well, not Colorado, but Denver is also well known as being very blue, right?
Mhm.
Very, very liberal, and usually a little bit more strict on things, including COVID stuff.
Mhm.
I flew out there. The only place I really saw a mask was at the airport.
Hmm.
Even servers at the restaurants, it was about
Hmm.
50-50 with them wearing masks. And I've
Interesting.
been talking to some people in other clusters of the country where they're like, "Oh yeah, it's not even that bad here." It's kind
Hmm.
of like if you want to wear one, you can, even when you're working.
Mhm.
If you're vaccinated. And then I came back to Tennessee and I'm like, wow, we are actually a lot more strict on this stuff than they are in a lot of other places in the country.
Mhm.
And I just found that very fascinating.
Well,
And
yeah. It's
I
go ahead.
I was going to say, and we're getting news from other people where their offices are going completely, their mandates are gone. Wear it if you want it, but you don't have
Yeah.
to now. And
Well,
I think it's interesting.
the whole thing is it's just weird to me. And
Yeah.
we've said many times that it's been a political thing the whole time.
Yep.
And I guess that's the biggest problem I have because politics and science really don't cross.
Right.
Um, and it becomes ridiculous because now you have the vaccine mandates, and my opinion that's ridiculous, and I'll tell you why. It's vaccinated people who should be safe are scared of unvaccinated people who can't hurt the vaccinated people.
Right.
I
Yeah.
don't. It does not make sense to me. And if then the argument goes to, well, the hospitals will fill up with a whole bunch of unvaccinated. Well, you know what? Vaccinated people are in the hospitals too.
Just for
And
different things.
and well, but if they have COVID along with the other things, then it's still branded as COVID,
Right.
like it's been for over a year now.
Since the beginning. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
gunshot
just
wounds. Well, he died of COVID.
yeah. No, I'm finding that we are seeing that a lot less, though. There are people
I
that
hope so.
are, yeah,
I
at
hope
least
so
here in
because it's
Tennessee,
nothing but it's when the government is paying hospitals to name something COVID if it's present as the cause of death. I'm sorry. That's again, it's politics and science crossing,
yeah.
and it's bogus.
Speaking of, I didn't get to watch. I've got to preface it with I didn't get to listen to the entire thing. Listen, and watch because it's on Spotify. You can do either.
Mhm.
I've only
Joe
listened to the
Rogan.
first 50 minutes. Joe Rogan and Sanjay Gupta.
Sanjay Gupta.
Did
I did
you
not
did you
listen.
listen to it?
No, I didn't. I have a segment in my mailbox that I plan to listen to. I haven't yet, but the title was very simply that he threw down on
Yeah.
Sanjay and called him out and made him say what he wanted him to say. I don't know if
Uh,
that's accurate,
I don't
but
think that's at least in the first 50 minutes. I know
okay.
Joe was on him. Joe was riding him hard. It didn't let him finish a few things, but at the same time, I was really impressed with how what Sanjay was saying
Mm,
and how he was basically he's not afraid of it. It's like I'm vaccinated. If they need boosters, we need boosters. We'll do boosters. But you know what? Really, and the one thing I gleaned from it, and I was telling our buddy Matt from Ohio.
mhm.
Well, actually, both of them are in Ohio, aren't they? No, never mind. Never mind. Anyway, you can see how long a day it's been or a long week.
Yes.
I'm talking so much I have to drink water. Anyway, the one thing I kind of gleaned, at least this was my opinion on how it came out, was he basically said, all we really need is to be immune, whether that's immunity through vaccination or immunity through having had the disease. Once everyone's immune, it'll be fine. Don't
Mm,
be don't freak out about it.
mhm,
So that was the one thing I got from it, and
mhm.
that honestly, that's we've talked about the difference between our rational brain and our irrational brain.
Mhm.
Our rational brain I can say that all day long to myself, but until I hear it from a physician,
Sure.
albeit a famous physician,
Mm.
it made me feel a lot better.
Well, it's interesting because there has never been a mention by some of the natural immunity,
Right.
and if you have had COVID and actually were uh, uh, tested positive for antibodies, as I did, you have an immunity to that particular disease. Now,
Right.
there may be different strains, and there may be, uh, but again, it's a part of uh, something that you cannot change. That, well, you still need the vaccine. No, you really don't. You really don't if you have natural immunity.
Right.
And there are several studies that, and all of these studies are flash in the pan because they've been done so quickly compared to many others. Um, but several studies say that it's better immunity than that you can ever get from a vaccine,
Sure.
a man-made
Or
vaccine.
or it's
And
not. Who knows?
well,
Again,
and
Jen
we
had it,
don't know.
vaccinated, got
Yeah,
it again.
and I'm not scared.
Yeah.
I'm not scared. So maybe she got a different strain when she got it again.
Oh, she
Was
did.
it
I mean,
terrible?
it was no, not at all. She even
So
said not. She felt
so
hungover,
and what caused that to be so easy? Was it the vaccines that she got, or was it the fact
or
that she already had the antibodies?
or both. Who
Or
knows?
both. Who knows?
Yeah.
Exactly. So
No,
for
it's
anyone
just
to
it
say
was
with anybody to say distinctly, this is what it is, they don't really know.
well,
And we've
exactly,
learned all
and
the way through.
that was something else he pointed out. He's is For those of you who don't know who Dr. Sanjay Gupta is, he's actually a neurosurgeon in Atlanta. He's been on television. He's on CNN. He's quite the more liberal side of the
For
news.
sure.
But one thing he did say is, we're talking about this all wrong. We put it in the wrong box. We're talking about it as a respiratory disease, and in reality, it is more of a vascular disease because a respiratory disease wouldn't eliminate your sense of taste or your sense of smell. That's
Hmm.
vascular. So we need
Interesting.
to be putting it in the right bucket and actually doing research based on what bucket it's in,
Well,
not what we think it is, or reporting that in the news because that's where a
sure.
lot of people are getting confused.
But 100% of people have not lost taste or smell.
Correct.
So you can't just say because some lost taste or smell that it was automatically a vascular disease.
Right. Well, vascular covers more than just
Well, that may be the case, but for just to say it based on that, and again, it's limited evidence. You can't really
well,
say it's
I
just
don't
because of A or B. Well,
just like you and I are talking though, I don't think, how we use things as an example. I don't think that is all that dictates whether it
sure,
should be vascular versus
sure.
um, uh,
But
respiratory, but
leave it to doctors who often have varying opinions, and
absolutely.
that's okay. A, a doctor to me should be like a judge. Now, it's not the case, sadly, but a judge should be, I weigh this versus this and the law as it impacts this versus this, not what my political leanings are.
Right. No,
And
you're
if
absolutely right.
someone is a physician and has political leanings, uh, I mean, you can, but they cannot impact your scientific work,
Right. Right. And
or should
so
not.
that's why I think you'd enjoy listening to this because,
Mhm.
as I pointed out, he's more of a liberal physician.
Sure.
He didn't sound like it on this podcast. He did not.
Well,
I mean, one of the
it's
things
Joe's
he even
show.
said, it
It's
is,
Joe's
and
show,
he
and he's going to control it to a
well, he
degree.
is, and he and Dr. Gupta is a fan of Joe Rogan, which is why he was on the show.
Sure.
And but the one thing I was really impressed by him saying was that uh, he had a tough time with the fact that the scientists at the CDC or all the other agencies that are in charge of this,
Mhm.
they weren't the ones in this example. I'm going to point that out again so we don't go down that other rabbit hole. But
Sure.
in this particular example, the government was pushing booster shots before the FDA or the CDC actually had the science to back it up or even wanted to recommend it themselves.
And so the question has to become why?
Exactly. And that's what he was questioning. He's like, I can't trust it. I don't know if it's right. If it is, the science backs it up. Okay.
Yeah.
But if the government shouldn't be pushing it out before the scientists do. And
My
that's
rule
the
of thumb,
scientists' jobs.
if there's a political body that has a buy-in, follow the money.
Right. Exactly.
Where's the money going? Where's it coming from? We don't know. Hasn't
Yep.
been shared with us. There have been some conjecture made,
Right.
but not been shared with us. So anyway, it's that. Okay. What I did,
Yeah.
Lisa came back from an appointment she had a couple days ago and got a pedicure. And she said this place was really cool. It's called the Nail Bar.
Okay.
NAIL, like nails on your
Yeah.
hands and so on. She said, great pedicure. It was really fun. And okay, we're in Florida and I'm not wearing really much other than sandals these days. I mean, I have pants on,
Sure
but,
you do.
but it's not like I'm in your office. Um,
That joke was from before we hit record.
he
Just so you
was
guys
not.
know.
People know exactly what I'm talking about.
I never wear pants.
So I decided I'm going to get a pedicure.
Oh,
And
okay.
Lisa said, well, manicure, she can use one of those. So fine, let's go. It's kind of a celebration, our anniversary. And so we went to this place and she had told me, but I didn't really know what to expect when I got there. The place is huge. There are probably 30 pedicure chairs
Hmm.
and probably 40, if not more, manicure chairs.
Okay.
And the pedicure chairs are awesome. They're like massage chairs, and they lean back and they really massage your back, and you've got all sorts of controls for making it sit exactly the way you want to. Very cool. While they're doing the pedicure, if you've never had a pedicure done, you really should. It's not unpleasant. It's not, oh gosh, I don't need that. I feel so special. It's pretty awesome. And they do all the work, and so you're not having to, for people who are not, let's say, petite, it's a lot easier than me getting down there to do all the work. So what made it especially funny was I'm the only dude in there when we got there, other than a couple of the nail techs. And this big guy came in, big even compared to me, and he walks in and he and his wife sit down right next to me. And so he goes, how you doing? I said, fine. He's kind of got that Florida accent going on, so he's
Okay.
probably been around for a while. And he said, "Your first time?" And I said, "Well, my first time here." And he says, "Yeah, mine too. First time ever." And he kind of he's got this big mustache and goatee going on, and it was really a fun thing to see him sitting
That's
there. And so
awesome.
he's making comments as he goes on, and yeah, we laughed about it. Anyway, we got done. Lisa's done about the same time, so I went up to pay. And before I left, though, I looked at him and I said, "Same time next week." He
He's-
laughed his butt off. And he
I
said,
was going to
"Honey," I
say,
said,
did he spit out some chaw and say, "See you then"?
you would have believed it if he had, looking at him, but he's sitting right next to his wife. And after he said that, and we laughed about it, I said to her, I said, "Honey, I'm going to the gun club." I said, "I'll bet you anything he'll be here having a glass of Chardonnay." And they serve you
Nice,
drinks.
nice.
They have a full bar
Really?
while you're there, and if you so choose, which I did not.
Well, when I come to visit, you and I will go get a Manhattan and get our nails done.
That's
How many salespeople, when you worked in the car business, went every couple of weeks to get a pedicure or a manicure rather?
percentage wise, I'd say it was probably only 10%, but I
Oh,
know the
really?
ones who
See,
did. Yeah.
yeah, I
Yeah.
would say, I take that back. I would say it wasn't necessarily the salespeople, but every single finance person I knew when I
Oh,
worked
sure.
always went to get their. Well,
Well,
you're handing out, you're showing people the menu and stuff, so you
that's
gotta.
true. Well, and that's anytime. Yeah, anytime you watch anything like that, you see somebody in a camera shot and they do a zoom in on the hands, and you go, "Oh, dude, really? Get a
Yeah,
manicure?
right, right.
Really?" It doesn't,
Yeah,
and it's not about, well, I look manly because I got grease under my finger. Look, I'm not challenging any of that, but do you really want to look at somebody with greasy, scraggly nails? It doesn't take much.
yeah.
And so anyway, yeah, there were
So
ladies there who, and it was 90, 85% ladies in
okay.
this place. And they kind of look at you because it's like, "Oh, they found our secret place."
Yeah.
And because they're
No,
having
they're not
glasses of
looking
wine.
at you for that reason. They're not looking at they're going, "Wow, she's lucky. Her
He
husband
has
actually
he has soft
joins
feet.
her." What does he do for a living?
Yeah.
My husband died and I need to replace
Wow. You can tell
my
we're in South
replacement
Florida.
husband needs
You're not
yeah.
calling it wrong, sir. Anyway,
So
it's pretty fun.
speaking of the gun club, and I
Yes.
think that after this
Yes.
we need to wrap it up. So, do you have the ability to look something up on your computer?
I do. I can't believe, why don't you get a secretary instead of having
No,
me
no, no,
do
no,
this
because I
for
want you
you?
to be able to look at it. So go to Strikeman.
Is this that's just the address you want me to search for?
No, it's strikeman.io. I don't
IO.
remember if it's MAN or MEN. Try
I got
MAN.
it. MAN. Train at home, save money on ammo, improve your accuracy, and draw time.
So that was my birthday present, and
Very
I finally
nice.
got it on Wednesday.
I don't know if it's the same brand name. I have this.
Do you really?
I
Little
just haven't.
laser, the laser shell that goes into your yeah.
Yes, I
I
haven't
love
opened
it.
it yet. I have
Really?
not opened it. It's been in my closet for 3 years
Really?
because,
It's so much
well,
fun.
yeah, and I do need to try it. Absolutely. I just have not taken the time to do it, and I should.
Yeah.
It's not only fun, but it's good practice.
It is. And I
And
actually got to teach Peyton. So Peyton
oh,
actually
cool.
for the very first time, and I'm putting quotes in the air right
Yeah,
now, fired a gun, even though you're not firing anything. It's just
right.
literally you're dry firing
Yeah,
your gun and it's hitting the shell and it's popping a laser onto the
yeah,
target.
which is
And your
awesome.
phone is recording it. So your phone will
Mhm,
see where it is and it'll
mhm,
show you where every strike, every place that you hit.
mhm.
So
And that's awesome. So the only cautionary piece I will give you is that it's nothing like actually firing the gun,
no,
or
no, no,
it's no replacement for that.
it
It
isn't.
is for aiming. It is
Yes.
for holding it appropriately, proper
Yep.
form and everything. But if you intend, and certainly I know you've fired guns before,
Mhm.
but if you intend to have Peyton or any of our listeners, somebody younger, it's also important to get them to a range and
Yes,
let them
absolutely.
feel the difference. In fact, but I
Because
think it's really smart, Nick, because it lets her get the idea of how it feels to hold it, but
mhm.
then you'll understand grip at some point, because you will know, keep your thumb this
Yep.
out of the recoil or out
Yep.
of the
Slider.
slide. Thank you, because otherwise you will pinch the hell out of it, as I've done.
Oh, yeah, I
And
actually so I have my handgun is a 9 millimeter. It's a Glock, and
mhm,
Jen it was just a little bit too big, not too big, too powerful for Jennifer.
okay.
So I bought her a little it's a Glock, but it's a 380,
Oh,
which
okay.
doesn't have nearly the same
No.
recoil. But I took it to the range and was firing it, and my hand is too big for it. And every time the slide came back, it clipped the top of my hand. I was like,
Yeah.
I kept trying to slide it down, but then, I don't have a grip, so
Can
it's
you get
gotta
an
go.
extension?
I don't need to. I
A
mean, it's not
magazine
for me
extension? No,
anyways,
that's true, that's a good point, but it fits her
but
hand okay.
it fits her hand just fine.
Okay, well, that's
Yeah.
good. Yeah, I had a Walther 9 millimeter, and I
Okay,
loved
James Bond,
nothing. No, no, he had,
PPK, Walther PPK.
he did have a PPK, you're absolutely right. So mine was I think they called it a CCW or something like that, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
But very nice. It was a great gun. It felt so good in my hand. The grips are curved just a little bit, and so yeah, when the mag was on there, and I had a little extension on the magazine, it fit my hand perfectly. Um, the the trouble was when I would put my hand and my thumb would wrap around, and I'm kind of showing my thumb would wrap around. My thumb went exactly where the magazine release was.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah, so it didn't pinch. I just go bang, boom, drop the magazine. It happened like 5 or 6 times in the range,
That's
and I
funny.
I feel like such an idiot. And, well, okay, and I tried to move my thumb around and, yeah, couldn't, so I ended up,
I
parting
wanna
ways.
get my I've never I haven't had the opportunity to fire a full-sized authentic one,
Hmm,
but I want for my collection at some point I forgot who makes it. It's not Smith& and Wesson. I mean, they make a version, but I'm trying to think of who made the original.
hmm.
I think it was Colt, a 1911.
Oh, sure.
So a service pistol
Yeah,
from all the way up until I think 1983 or 84 is when
wow.
the
Okay,
military still used the 1911. I want to
cool.
get my hands on one of those. That's
I
kind of my dream gun.
Mine would be, well, first, I'll borrow yours to try it. The one you're gonna wanna borrow from me when I get it is the Desert Eagle.
The 40 is it a it's not a
44
45. Is it a
or
44?
45, I'm sorry, 45, yes, 45, and I have a buddy who has one, he's law enforcement,
Uh-huh.
and, I mean, it's full size, it's big,
Yeah.
and a 45, and it feels like a 22 when you shoot it.
Really?
It's just boom. I've never had any experience like that. With a
Huh.
45, it's usually a little
Oh yeah.
violent,
Oh yeah.
and that was just boom, boom. I'm like, "Wow, that's amazing." Not
They're
cheap,
not
of
cheap.
course, no,
Well,
but,
neither is a
amazing gun.
1911, but a Desert
Yeah,
Eagle puts a 1911 to shame.
it's just an amazing, amazing weapon, but I it's not one you can conceal carry very well.
Right. Yeah.
So, anyway, I, like you, have a Glock 9 millimeter,
A 19?
43. I have a 43.
You have 43.
Yep,
So
so
that's
it's
oh, so that is the size because I think Jen's is either a 42 or 44.
yeah.
So it's the same size as the 380 is the same size as the 9 millimeter.
I have an extension on mine too
Do
for
you?
the magazine extension, because I needed that to be able to hold it. I
So
need a
mine
full-on
is a
grip.
19. So it's the mid range, the
Yeah,
subcompact,
I have a 23 as well, which is a 40 cal.
which is a full size.
It's
No,
not a
it's a
full size. They
subcompact
call it it's a compact. I
because
don't think they call it
the
sub. The 43 is a subcompact. The 23 is a compact, if I'm not mistaken.
I think it's the reverse.
No,
I could be wrong. I could be
43 is
wrong.
smaller than the 23. Trust me. 40
Yeah,
cal.
that's what I'm
23
saying.
is a 40 cal.
Yeah,
43
so
is
that would
small.
be wouldn't that be a compact versus a subcompact, which is a little bit
Correct.
bigger?
43 is the subcompact. You're absolutely right. If that's what you're saying.
No, either way around.
No, 43 is a subcompact. 23 is a compact.
I don't think that's right. I
It
don't
is
think
right.
that's right.
You're
No,
gonna
I
have to
don't.
trust me.
I don't
I
think
have
that's
it
right.
20 feet from me if you'd like
No,
me to
I
show you.
we will after we get off the show because I wanna because I'm
Yes.
gonna go down because I think Jen's is a 40. It's a 40 something, and
Yeah,
mine is
so it's
19.
Hers is a subcompact. 19 is probably a compact.
Why is a subcompact smaller than a compact?
Well, because subcompact is below. That's what sub means. Below compact.
I can
Have you
see
been
where you're
drinking?
from a language. No, from a language perspective, you're absolutely right. That makes perfect sense. But I don't. For some reason, I have it twisted in my head. So I'm not
Okay.
saying you're wrong. I'm just in
Folks,
my
we'll
head. It's
get back
twisted.
to this. I promise.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Let's talk.
This is what
Let's talk
happens.
about guns over beer.
This is what happens when we don't do happy hour.
See, this is what happens when John moves to the South. Our podcast
Yeah,
turns into a gun show.
it does. Come to the gun show.
Wasn't talking about that gun show, but
You
it
were
fits.
too.
We're tracking. On that note, folks,
Yes,
you're not going to
folks.
find any information on PoddiMouths.com. Go up to
R2.
what.poddymouths.com about guns. Nothing.
Nope.
We're probably going to be canceled soon.
I think that it's okay because we should talk about it. I think there's a fear among some because they don't have they
Training.
don't understand the vernacular, but are just scared because of what they are. And
Yeah.
there's really nothing
Well,
to
where
fear as long as
as
you study.
if you've never worked with one, if you've never had training, you should fear them.
Mhm.
They are scary, but that doesn't mean they are something to be scared of
No.
if you get the proper training and
It's the
you
training that's the
respect
scary.
them.
Yep.
And and you're careful. You're a responsible person and a
The
responsible
very
owner.
first rule, and we won't get into the weeds. The very first rule before we say goodbye is always assume it's loaded.
Yes.
That's the rule. And if you
Yep.
always have that at the forefront of your mind, you won't have trouble.
Exactly. Absolutely. Yep. And never hand someone a loaded gun either. That's stupid. You laugh.
Where did that come from?
I had someone do that. They were showing me, they handed it to me, and the very
No.
first thing I taught Peyton
Put
is
it down.
if someone, not put
Yeah.
it down, clear it.
Oh,
Drop the clip and check to see if it's loaded.
magazine, not a
I'm
clip.
sorry.
A
You're
magazine.
right. You're right. I always do
Sorry.
that. I don't know
I've
why.
done it
I
before,
know
too.
it's a magazine. I always call it a
know you do.
magazine.
But I was reading a clip the other day. No, it was Sports Illustrated magazine. Just
I
kidding.
got the joke.
Yeah, I
got the
know
joke.
you did. Thank you for smiling.
Anyway, I told her, I said, you drop the magazine and you pull the slide back, make sure you've
Immediately.
cleared the weapon.
Yep, immediately. But
And I said, if you ever hand someone a weapon, you hand it to them without the magazine, with the slide locked
Open.
back. Yep.
open. Yep, exactly right. Good advice, Dad.
So anyway, on
Good
that
advice.
note, bye everybody.
This was fun today.
It was fun.
Go to
Except
PoddiMouths.com.
all of a sudden, I can't talk gun anymore. I get
Yeah,
all
we're
flustered.
gunned out.
Clip. I did that with a buddy of mine who's used to be a cop, and I said that, and I know it's I 90%, and I'm going to say 90% of the time I call it a magazine.
Yes.
But once in a while, I just revert back to when I was a kid and say clip, and
Yeah.
I don't even know where it came from. It just pops into my head.
It's okay.
No, it's not. It bothers me. It is something that bothers me.
Because you understand the weapons and understand the structure and all of that. So yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. Now you're just trying to make me feel better. It's not working. On that note, folks, have a wonderful week. We'll see you next week.
See ya.